I want to talk about special elections, and I want to talk about something that I've been thinking.
Yeah. Tell me.
The polling looks really bad for Trump. It looks bad for Republicans.
Mhm.
Democrats have a consistent lead across polls in the generic ballot, which is when, remember, the survey asks, are you going to vote for Democrats or Republicans in November? They don't tell you any names. So I think, that's pretty evident. Democrats have a lead. I think Democrats have a lead in voter enthusiasm. But I think the polls are consistently underestimating how well Democrats are going to perform. When you see flips like we saw in Florida just the other night, in Trump's district, it's a Trump plus 11 district that went to a Democrat. Now, this is not expected. This is outside the conventional logic of elections, and it's outside the polling that we would normally see for Democrats in deep red districts. I really think there's a vast underestimation of how well Democrats are going to perform based on what we're seeing in the generic ballot. So I think the most important metric here is voter enthusiasm.
I think you're pretty bullish on that.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
There's a big gap right now between Republicans and Democrats on voter enthusiasm, and it's not a tough equation, right? Like when one party has a significant lead in voter enthusiasm, they win by huge margins. Look at 2018; there was a big gap in enthusiasm. Democrats picked up 40 seats. So when the two parties have similar voter enthusiasm, they sort of cancel each other out. The party in power suffers a little bit, but not so much. That's not the situation we have right now. What we're seeing right now is that Republicans are not showing up. We saw it in Texas. We're seeing these flips all over the country in deep red districts. And I think it has a lot to do with Republicans staying home. And I think that's what we can expect in November. You see the polls and Republicans are with him. They approve by large margins what he's doing right now.
Right.
But I think that doesn't necessarily reflect how they feel about every single issue. So when you break out Republicans, there'll be some who say they approve of the Iran stuff. There'll be some who say they approve of the ICE stuff. There'll be a decent margin that'll say that inflation is getting really scary. There'll be a decent margin that'll say the cost of living has gone up significantly for me, or the price at the pump. So there's little things for every one of these groups that's peeling them off, and it doesn't mean they're going to flip over to Democrats. What it means is they're not enthusiastic about voting because this is their issue. They're not going to go to the polls. They're not going to feel good about going to the polls for Republicans because they see them as sort of complicit in what's happening to their lives. And I voter enthusiasm, I think, will tell the story less than what we're seeing in the generic ballots, even though Democrats have
even though the generic ballot is a
solid lead,
is a whaler right now.
Yeah.